All right. And we want Beth Ann to be on the speaker view. Of course, now it's going to be, all right. Speaker view.
It's on.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're just going to do this because we can't get it to go live. It's moved all around. So anyways, welcome, Beth Ann, the amazing, talented, very patient Beth Ann. And we're so excited to have you on here tonight because you just have a wealth of knowledge. And I know I've said this before and I'll probably say it again. Excuse me. I could talk to you all night, and I tried to do that one night, literally. So, but welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you for inviting me. It was very wonderful. So I've been studying metaphysics for almost 40 years now. And so, yes, I've been studying many different forms of energy, and started out in my early 20s and wanted to find out about life and felt I was very shut down. So what I decided to do was to take the time to find out what I was capable of. Now, I took my first psychic development class, and that was one of the worst ones in the class. It would be like, we tried to read someone's energy, and the image I got was a red ball, and I couldn't get anything else. And it's like, that isn't helpful. So there was 3 other women and I, and plus myself, that decided we wanted to continue this work, but we couldn't afford to continue taking the classes. So for the next 2 to 3 years, we got together every other week, and we would try new things. We would meditate, and then we would, whoever had studied something new, they would present it. So we learned like how to do out-of-body experiences. We learned about dowsing. We learned about how to, just expanding our knowledge on energy. So plus I was reading. I love to read. And I've been reading lots of books on spirit and energy. And I was going to a Spiritualist Church of America, and they were teaching laying on of hands energy work, and they were teaching how to connect to spirit. And so I was taking one of their classes, and they turned out all the lights, and they asked us to open our energy to spirit and see if we could get a message. And I'm like, okay. And so this is like my second class. I'd never really been to this. And so they turned out all the lights, and we were sitting in these old rickety chairs so that if you moved, it'd creak. So, and during the time when we were starting, it was very quiet. So all the lights are out, it's pitch black, can't see a thing. And we open up for spirit. Now, in the church there, the Spiritualist Church, they like to prove that spirit's present. And so if you feel a draft, you're supposed to tell, you tell the group, I feel a draft. And if it's spirit, then if you light a match or a lighter near it and the flame doesn't flick and you still feel the draft, that means spirit's in contact with you. So someone on the left side of me, a couple of people down, was feeling a draft. So, but they didn't have a lighter or anything. And a person down on my right had a lighter. So they start passing the lighter down the circle. Dead quiet, nothing's making any noise. So I put my hand out to my right, I get the lighter, I put it in my left hand and I pass it over to the person next to me. And I feel a woman's hand come into my hand, small, delicate fingers. And then I felt a man's hand come over, bigger fingers, hairier on the back, and he grabbed the lighter. And there happened to be a woman sitting next to me, and beyond that was a man. And so so I thought, okay, they got the lighter, I'm fine. And so I'm waiting and waiting. And someone said, where's the lighter? And I said, I passed it to the person next to me, but the man took it. And so they said, no, we don't have it. And I said, well, I don't have it. You guys took it. And so they asked me, does anybody have a lighter so we could see what's going on? And no one did. So, and it was dead quiet the whole time. So someone on the other side of the circle near the light switch jumps up and turns on the light. And there is the lighter dead center in the middle of the circle. And there's like 15 people. We're sitting in a circle. And they're like, oh, Beth Ann, it rolled down your pant leg. I'm going, no, it didn't. So they tried that. It makes a thump. And there was no thump. It was dead quiet at that time. So I'm like, so what happened? What happened? And no one's answering my question, like, because I'm new and everybody else has been there for years. And I'm like, so what happened? What happened? And they keep changing the subject. So they end the night. And so I'm like, what happened? How did the lighter get into the middle of the room? And I had gotten a ride with a woman, and I asked her, I said, what happened? And she said, oh, you freaked everybody out. I said, I freaked everybody out. They said they never had a physical manifestation of spirit in circle before. And that was a physical manifestation. I said, well, what happened? And they said, that was your grandmother and grandfather. They grabbed the lighter and put it in the center of the circle. I'm like, well, why didn't anybody tell me? They said, you freaked them out. They didn't know what to expect.
Okay, that's hilarious, because they're there trying to make contact, and when it makes contact, they get freaked out.
Yes, I know. But I didn't last too much longer there.
Yeah.
So, but it again was introducing me to ways of being in touch with spirit. And what the most important thing I was reading at the time was everything is energy. Nothing, even the things you think are solid, are energy. And that really sort of a light bulb went off in my head, and it went, yeah. And I also figured out that not only is everything energy, and that nothing is truly solid, because what is energy? It's just particles spinning in space. Sometimes there's no particles, it's just energy spinning in space. But if it's solid, it has particles spinning in space. And reality then is, even a solid form, if you get down to the very structure of it, it's just pure energy. And it was like, oh, this is cool. And then I realized, oh, and all energy communicates, and it wants to be in communication. And I thought, oh, wow, this is fascinating. That, oh, so everything is energy, and it all has a consciousness. All energy has a consciousness. And that not only does it all have a consciousness, it all wants to be in communication. And it's like, how do I communicate with it? And that became my goal. And so for the next couple of years, I was studying, instead of taking vacations, I took workshops, and I was just having lots of fun and learning about energy in all its different ways. So I've studied crystals, I've studied color, I've studied sound, I've studied numerology, astrology, the Kabbalah. I've been studying all these things because of good Gemini. The more you study, the more you want to know. And so I took this class, and it was, I had a reading by a woman who did a soul reading. And I was fascinated. It's like she could actually talk to my soul. And I just thought that was fascinating and just wonderful. And so she taught a class, and it was 3 teachers, and they were teaching a class on how to do a soul reading. And I was like, oh, good, this is exciting. And it was a 3-day weekend. So, and it was interesting because nothing new was actually taught, but it all clicked together that weekend for me. And I met my guides, and that was wonderful. And then I think it was on the last day we were there, they brought in some strangers to read their energy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's see if this really works. So the first woman shows up, and I see this snake, and it's a cobra, and it's the words I hear in my head are king cobra. I need to say king cobra, and it's got its fangs out, and it's coming out, and it's striking. And I look at the woman, I said, oh, the other thing they taught us that weekend was, if you don't like an image, or the image doesn't feel right, kick it out. And if it keeps coming back 3 times, then that's the image. You got to talk about it. So I don't like snakes. I hate snakes. So I kept kicking the snake image away, kept asking for, what was important for this woman to hear. And the snake kept coming back. So I finally said, okay, I'm getting this image. I'm not comfortable with it, but I need to talk to you about it. So I said, there is a snake, it's striking, and they want me to tell you it's a king cobra. You can see the hood is open on the snake, and you can see the diamond pattern on the back of it. And so she's going, oh, thank you. I know what that means. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you know, but I want to know what's going on here. Being nosy. And so, and it told me about the power and the power of the king cobra. It's in India, where she happened to live for 10 years, that is the most powerful snake. And so for her to get the king cobra in that striking mode was her at her most powerful. So I thought, oh, this is fascinating. So she took it as a real gift that I gave that to her. So I was like, oh, good. I'm glad I could give that to you. And so then the next person shows up. Okay. All right. We have to read the next person. So I look at her energy and I see a nuclear explosion. And I'm like, if she's in a nuclear explosion, I'm going to be in the nuclear explosion because she lives near me. So it's like, I don't like this image. You have to remember, this was almost 30 years ago when nuclear explosions were much more could have happened. And so I throw the image out. And so, but it keeps coming back and it won't leave. And so I say, okay, I need to talk to you about this image I'm getting. It looks like a big cloud. Well, let me get more details. So it has something like, it looks like a mushroom cloud with something radiating down. Well, it looks like a nuclear explosion cloud. And she goes, oh, wow, thank you. I love that image. I'm like, whoa, she loves the image. This is good. And so then I said, well, I want to know why you're getting this image. And so then I proceeded to tell her that she had gone through numerous times in her life where she seemed to have lost everything and she had to start fresh again. But each time she was more powerful, that it did, losing everything did not take away from her or her power, and that it only made her stronger. And she goes, you're absolutely right. She goes, I've lived through 2 fires where everything I owned was destroyed. And I moved to Europe where I could only take a suitcase of stuff with me. And so she goes, yes, I have nothing from my past. And yet she says, I feel free and I feel fine that I don't have anything from my past. Nothing's holding me back. And I said, yes. And I said, and the nuclear explosion, they've found when the green comes back, the plants come back. They're much more stronger and more powerful because they were able to survive the nuclear explosion. So I said, that's you're stronger and more powerful by surviving all this. So those were the first 2 readings I did when I first started to learn to do soul readings. Now, when I first started too, they tried to record me and it wouldn't record because I asked Spirit, I said, how come you can hear the person asking the question, but you don't hear the answer? And they said, well, you're not quite used to the energies yet. So we have to step in to your energy. And while we're in your energy, you can't record. So even though the person could hear my voice, it wasn't recordable. And it took about 6 months, and then you could start recording it. And to this day, once in a while, things will not get recorded. And so I asked about that, and they said, well, because the person's supposed to hear the information as they remember it, not as it was actually said. And I was like, oh, because, in the beginning too, I used to give a reading, and then I'd say, people, oh, tell me what you heard, because I want to make sure that you heard it correctly. Otherwise, I'm going to correct you. And so Spirit said, don't do that. You hear it the way you hear it. They hear it the way they're supposed to hear it. So don't try to make corrections. I said, okay.
Well, that's kind of a good point, because I think sometimes we want that validation. What did we give you? Did it validate? Did it resonate? And you were pretty much told, no, you just give the message. Let them figure that out. So that's a good point for everyone to remember too. And one time you said to me, when we were talking, you said, the more you learn about energy, just the more, it expands.
Yes.
So talk about that, because that was really eye-opening for me. I think some of us like, this is what I like to do, and this is where I'm going to stay, but there's so much more. And obviously you're a living testament to that because of all the things that you've studied. But talk a little bit about that, how that impacts you.
Well, being a good Gemini and a Virgo moon wants all the details, and the Gemini wants all the info. And then I have the Sag rising, which says I got to then present it back out to others. So how it worked when I first started, I was only visual. I didn't get auditory. And yet the more I worked, the more the other senses kicked in. So then I started becoming, then I became auditory, and then I became the feeler, and then I could sometimes get scent, and sometimes I can get a taste with it too. So I've now found when I read someone, if they're visual, I'm visual. If they're auditory, I'm auditory.
That's interesting.
So yes, so that's how it's become over time. So I've learned to open up my senses. And what helped with that is I used to go to a music therapist, and what they would do is we would talk about what my issues, what had happened during the week. And then he would turn on some music and he would say, journey. And I would journey for like a half hour, and he'd come in, and then we'd talk about my journey. And then we would compare how that was helping me to find the answers. And the journey, sometimes, like one time I got nothing. I felt like I was in a dark hole. And I'm like, I'm paying this guy money. I need to get some type of information. I just can't be no information. So I'd be sit there and I'll go, okay, so it's dark, it's black. I feel like I'm in a hole. Well, if I'm in a hole, how do I find myself? How do I get out of the hole? So I start looking around for the light, and all of a sudden I look up and there's the light right above me. And it's like, oh yeah, I am in a hole. So I have to climb out of the hole. And then all of a sudden everything is lit up. And another time it was all black and I couldn't seem to get anything. And I said, oh, feels like I'm in a room, but the light's not on. So then I had to feel around, find the edge of the room, and then find the light switch. So I flipped it on, then I got, oh, there I am, I can see. And the other thing that kept happening is almost every journey I was taking, there would be a white eagle that would show up. And so I happened to mention it one time. I said, oh, that's interesting. The white eagle showed up again today, like every other time. And he goes, oh, that's one of your guides. And he said, oh, I didn't realize that. So the next time I went down the journey, I said to the white eagle, so are you my guide? And he said, yes. And then I said, oh, so what can you teach me? What can I learn from you? And one of the things it said, well, you could see through my eyes. And so it let me be absorbed into its energy. And it's like I looked through the eyes of the eagle and I could fly as the eagle, but he was in control, but he allowed me to sort of piggyback onto him and experience what it was like to be the eagle. So that was fascinating. So what I have found over the years is the more I studied and the more I realized something was possible, then I would test, okay, can I do that? I've taken numerous laying on hands energy classes because when I was at that spiritualist church, I could run energy very easily. I could call energy through me and then send it off to someone else. And I could feel the energy. Like the church during the wintertime was only set at like 50. And you'd walk in and it'd be cold. Even at 50, it was cold. And so people would leave their coats on so the heat would come on. But the healers could start doing energy work if anybody wanted any energy. So I immediately start taking my coat off and my sweater, and I get down to a t-shirt and I put my hands on someone and I'd be sweating. I'd be running so much energy. And so it was fascinating. And it was, for me building up all that energy that I was getting so hot that, yes, I was moving energy. So, and I also took classes in hypnosis, because if everything is energy, and how can I control energy is through my thoughts and through my mind. Well, how can I influence my mind then? Well, hypnosis. So I was like, oh, this is cool. So then I started hypnotizing people and not doing like weight loss or something like that. I would do it to connect to their soul. So like if they had to do something to do with healing, I'd connect with their soul and say, oh, can this be healed? And I learned a technique where you took someone down into their inner library and they would find a book on the shelf. And I'd ask them to seek the book that talked about their illness, and they'd pull it down, and I'd have them read the book, and they would find out why the illness started, how, what was involved in the illness, and then how to cure the illness. And it was really fascinating. And so I did that technique with different people. And then some people wanted you to do past life work, or is this issue past life? And so then I would do that. Someone had an issue, and I'd say, I'd hypnotize them, talk to their soul. And if the soul was too wounded and they couldn't heal it, then I'd ask the soul, who's the guide that's going to help us to help you heal? And then they would send whoever it was, like if it was an angel or Jesus or whoever the healer was going to be. And so that being, like, one woman had her soul had been scattered, had broken up into pieces and had been scattered out. And so she was not working at her highest level because she didn't have all the pieces collected. So I asked who was supposed to go out and collect all the pieces of her soul and bring it back together again. And it turns out Jesus volunteered to do it. So he ran out and gathered all her pieces, brought it back, and put her back together. I said, well, can we heal it and make her more empowered than even before? Because she got splintered, and I didn't want her splintered again. So Jesus did all that for her. So it's been fascinating.
Do they recall it when they come out of the hypnosis? Are you bringing them to the state where they don't recall what they said, or do they have?
Oh no, I anchor it into memory. It depends on the issue. Some people have been through some massive trauma, and it may not be, I ask their soul, is it for their highest and best to remember all the details? And if it is, then I will anchor that everything we do that day will come back in full memory. So if they wish to write it down or speak of it, they'll have it in full detail. And then sometimes the soul says it's not in their best interest. So then I say, we'll have them remember the parts that are important, that will help strengthen them. And so then that's what we do. So it depends on what the soul says. So I always go by the guidance of the soul, or I know I was working with someone who is a multiple personality, and the soul essence had actually died at the age of 2. And it was just all these personalities that were sort of connected, but not the strength of the soul. But it turns out there was a spirit guide who wanted to have her survive and work. So I connected her up to the spirit guide. And then anytime she had any problems, like if any aspect of her was freaking out, which would happen, like she had a 1-year-old, which sometimes would come through and it would freak out because of it was scared. So we taught her to call the name of the spirit guide, and that spirit guide would come in, and then you could hear the two of them dialoguing. They'd be dialoguing, and they would find a way to heal her, to bring her out of her freaking outness, and then she'd be fine. And so instead of being freaked out for hours, she would just be in a freak out stage for a couple of minutes, and the spirit guide would help her bring her back into a feeling of safety again. So yes, I've worked with many different people over the years. The other thing I finally learned how to work with is, okay, it's gone right out of my brain. So I do hypnosis and I do NLP. NLP is neuro linguistics programming. And I like that because what would take me 2 hours in hypnosis, I could do in 20 minutes. And so I really like the NLP aspect for reprogramming your brain. So all these different things, and I would go to these conventions, and my favorite conventions I would go to were the Dowsing Convention. Do most of you know what dowsing is? Okay, dowsing, it's okay, here's like a pendulum, you would use a tool, dowsing rods or a pendulum, or there's other different types of tools you can use. And when you use these tools, they can help you read energy. So I would go to that convention because it would teach you ways of reading energy or working with energy in a way that you hadn't thought of. An example would be this woman, she lived in
Tina
Arkansas.
has
And
some right there. Do you see
yes,
Tina's showing you
yes,
hers?
yes, those are L rods. Yes, they're shaped like an L, so they're called L rods. Yes, I love those things. L rod's really good for reading auras. So you can tell when someone is centered in their aura or not. What you do is you ask to see the edge, and you take the dowsing rods and put one on each side of the body, and you can watch to see where their energy is collapsing and where it comes back out again. And so some people, if you fall or hit yourself or something hits you, your energy can be pushed to one side. So you'll have a big, huge energy, let's say on your left side, and your aura on your right side is just touching you physically. And so then you will feel beside yourself because you're not centered in your aura. And some people, it's the same thing. They could have their aura right up close to their physical body in the front, but go out huge in the back. And you can tell when someone has that problem because they don't like anyone walking behind them because they can feel their energy. They can pick up on them. And they don't mind anybody coming right up close to them and talking to them. Whereas if someone has a big energy in the front, then they don't like anybody getting within 2 feet of them because it's like, oh, it's too much. You got to back off. You've got too much energy. And you can walk behind them and they don't know you're there because they don't have any energy back there. So there is a technique I can teach you to center yourself back in your energy. And that's a quick and simple technique. I always like finding quick, simple, easy techniques. I don't like
Well,
complicated
I was going
things.
to ask you to talk about the muscle testing thing because I've been doing that since you kind of told me about that,
Oh, yes.
you know, with the,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's,
So
is that the one you were talking about?
muscle testing is another form of dowsing, but instead of using a tool, you're using your body. So that's another way. And it's another name for muscle testing is kinesiology. Some of you might know it as kinesiology or muscle testing. And so, yes, I muscle test for everything. I think it's, it's wonderful. You can test all your vitamins. So if I'm muscle testing, again, this is just reading energy. If I'm muscle testing for vitamins, I always ask what's for my highest and best. That's my first question. My second question would be, can I assimilate it? Because if I'm going to digest it, I got to find out if my body can actually break it down and use it. And I found this out because I was taking some of these wonderful organic vitamins, and the company decided they wanted to sell more. So they hired a dowser to come in and read your energy field. So if you were holding the packet of vitamins and your energy field got bigger, then yes, your body loved that. And so that would be something you needed. And this company had about 40 different products. And it turns out I could only assimilate 3 of their products, even though they were all natural, all organic, but my body just couldn't break it down in the form that they were presenting it. So I've learned since then, when I go to buy vitamins, I find out, can I assimilate that brand? Because every brand has different little additives to it, and you may or may not be able to assimilate it. So I've learned to do that. But you could do that with any food. You could do that with, like you're looking for property. If you see the ad, muscle test it. Is this for my highest and best? If it's not, then don't bother going to see it.
So how do you muscle test?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways of doing it. So one way of doing it is you make a circle, and you can put your finger through the circle, and you're testing these muscles right here. So you want to try to break through, okay? So you start with your name, because your name should be your most powerful energy. So If I say, my name is Beth Ann, it's nice and strong. I can't break through. So say your name. Now, if it's weak, it's easy to break through. That means your electrical system is out of whack. And you've got to rebalance it. Do you want me to explain how to rebalance just in case you're having a bad day?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So the other way you can test, just before I show you that, is, okay, because I think we're all women here, use a man's name and say, like, my name is John. Then you'll see how weak when you say a lie or say something that's not true, it weakens you.
Name's John. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and that's just to say, so you can test anything. If I hold a glass of water and say, is that for my highest and best? I get a nice strong energy.
Yes.
But let's say you had a glass of wine and then you tested. Does that make you stronger? Does it make you weaker?
Yeah. Cookies break right through.
Well, it matters what kind of cookies.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. My cookies.
Maybe all natural might work.
There you
You
go.
never know. Or maybe instead of made with white sugar, honey, maybe that works better. I don't know. So anyway, how to get yourself back in balance if you're out of balance. So what you would do is put your hands back to back and then oh, wait a minute. You start with the feet first. Sorry. So cross over one leg over the other. Doesn't matter which one. See which is most comfortable. Could you right over left or left over right? Doesn't matter. Find out which is the most comfortable. Everyone got that? Okay. Next, you put your hands like this. And so my left leg is on top. So I'm going to put my right arm. So you do the opposite arm on top.
Okay.
Okay. And then you do put your fingers through. And then you bring it up through and under your chin. And then you stick your tongue on the roof of your mouth. You're going to hold this for a couple of minutes. And what you're doing is you've created a closed circuit and your energy is going to just run through your closed circuit. Keeping your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Okay, when you're ready, when it feels like it's flowing well, you can uncross everything. And now test your hand again and go, my name is, and then say it and then test. You're going to find it's even stronger.
I never
Do you
did
feel the
that.
difference?
I do kinesiology all the time. I've never once did that. I just switch hands.
Yeah, well, there you go. When we're scattered or something has thrown us off, by creating a closed circuit, you're strengthening your energy. What you're doing is you're cycling it around and around, and it's just getting stronger and stronger. And then when you stop, you're at your full strength, and now you test, and then you're going to find it's much easier. The information flows easier for you. The yeses and nos are much clearer.
That's cool.
Yeah,
learned
it's called the
something.
closed circuit.
And I just popped in.
Very cool.
Hey, I have
So-
a question.
Yes.
I have a quick question. Should I have felt like any kind of tingling?
Yes, I did.
Yes, that is,
Okay.
you're being aware of the energy flowing. This is all about energy. And
Yeah.
so when we're scattered, we don't feel our energy as much. When we create the closed circuit, and the more it circulates, then the stronger it feels. And some people feel it as a tingling, some people feel it as a warmth, some people don't feel anything. Everybody has a different experience.
When we're doing this, does it matter which
Nope.
hand?
Nope. Another way I learned was the weakest one is using the baby finger up against the thumb. And then I take the other two, the pointer finger and the thumb, and I put it up through the hole. Whoops,
Oh,
up through the hole.
That's
And then
what
I
I
try
learned.
to, that's harder because that's actually a weaker muscle.
Amy. My name is Amy.
I do the rabbit in the hole. So it's the okay sign, and then you put the rabbit head in the hole.
Yes, it's easier. You can just do one finger if you want to also.
Mhm.
Just one finger in the rabbit hole. But this one, if you use the baby finger, because the baby finger is not very strong. It's hard to grip anything. So this one is very clear how weak you are or how strong you are. Where this way you can actually force it to stay strong.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
another way you could do it, like if you're in the store and you don't want anybody knowing what you're doing. So you're testing your vitamins in the store. You take your longest finger and you put it on top of the pointer finger, just at the bottom of the nail, like that. Okay. And you're testing this muscle on your pointer finger.
Okay.
So this muscle, the finger up here pushes down. So my name is Beth Ann, and it's nice and strong. My name is George, and I can't hold it. It falls.
Ah,
And you can just
That's
dangle
cool.
your hand next to your body and you can test things. And no one knows what you're doing.
right. That's cool. Well,
Very.
we kind of got started a little bit late because we were trying to go live and Facebook has changed their system and we couldn't do it. So we wanted Beth Ann to do a meditation, but I don't want to make you stay late if you have another obligation or something, Beth Ann, or if you
I'm
wanted
fine.
to do meditation, we would love it, but I know that, your time is valuable as well.
I'm glad to do it. Would everyone want to do a meditation?
Mhm.
Okay. I start with a basic, which is I'm going to hook you up to the universal flow of energy. Most of us get drained during the day because we feel ourselves as disconnected from the universe and that we're our individual selves running around. This meditation connects you to the universal flow, and it reminds you that this is your born given gift, your right to be part of the universal flow of energy. And from there, we'll take it to another place where we're going to strengthen your energy field. Okay.
Okay.
So if you all could get comfortable.
Okay.
And I would like you to gently close your eyes. And just begin to gently take some slow, deep breaths. And each time you exhale, give yourself permission to settle deeper inside your body, allowing your energy to become calmer and calmer. So with each breath now, as you're breathing in, I would like you to use your wonderful imagination. And your wonderful imagination, you're going to find that if you were to look up to the heart of the universe, there's a huge ball of light. It's a white light ball, which is shimmering with all the colors of the universe. And as you're breathing in, you're going to notice that a beautiful beam of light is coming down from that shimmering ball of light. It flows through the top of your head, flows down into your heart. And as you keep breathing it in, that shimmering luminous white light flows down into your heart and then flows out into every cell of your body, sending you the nurturing, loving energy that comes from the heart of the universe. So with each breath, you're just breathing in more of that light and feeling it flow out into every cell. And as you continue to breathe it in, you're now going to feel it expand beyond your physical body and flow out into your aura, all all the energy that surrounds you physically. And as you continue to breathe in that luminous white light, it is going to flow down through your body and out through your tailbone and out through the bottom of your feet. The excess energy flows down in a beam of light down to the heart of the Mother Earth. And as you're breathing and relaxing, you're sending that luminous white light down to the heart of the Mother Earth. She breathes it in, and in blessing and in gratitude, the Mother Earth sends up from her heart center a beautiful golden beam of light. And that golden light flows up through the bottom of your feet, up through your tailbone, and flows right to your heart center. And as you begin to breathe it in, you can feel it flowing out into every cell of your body. So now as you're breathing in the white light from above, that luminous white light. And as you exhale, the white light goes down to the Mother Earth. And as you inhale, the golden light flows up into every cell of your body, bringing you the loving, nurturing energy of the earth. And it flows out beyond your body and into your aura. And so your whole body now is a blending of that luminous white light from the heart of the universe and the golden light from the heart of the Mother Earth. As you continue to breathe in the golden light, the excess is going to flow out through the top of your head and flow up to the heart of the universe. And then the cycle begins again. As you breathe in, you'll breathe in the white light. It flows down through you to the Mother Earth. As you exhale, and as you breathe in the golden light that flows up through you. And as you exhale, it goes up to the heart of the universe. You are now part of the universal flow of energy from the heart of the universe to your heart, to the heart of the Mother Earth, to your heart, to the heart of the universe. It's like an infinity sign. This energy continually flows with every breath that you take. This is your born-given right. You are part of the universal flow of energy. All the energy you would ever want, need, or desire is yours. You are connected to it, and it's flowing around you and through you. You will never run out of energy. It is always there for you. Whether you're focused on it or not, now that you've hooked up to this energy, it is yours. And you are now, whether you are conscious of it or not, part of this continuous flow of energy. You are part of that universal flow. Now, when you begin to feel that energy, you can expand your awareness and feel the energy now flowing all around the earth itself. Since this is the day of the earth, let us celebrate by sending wonderful universal flow of energy through the whole planet. And it flows to the earth, it flows to the plants, it flows to the minerals, it flows to the animals, it flows to the winds, it flows to the lakes, the oceans, rivers, it flows to all the beings. And you can feel this nurturing energy flowing. It is centered in love, and it flows out to the whole world, strengthening it, aligning it, and tuning it. Feel all the energies aligning and attuning. Feel yourself becoming one with the planet, one with all the beings on the planet. Being with one with it, not that the energies overflow, but that they are in harmony with each other. Feel that flow of energy. And when you're ready, feel yourself back in your own body. And now we're going to establish something called a filter. This filter is going to strengthen your energy. You know, there are water filters and air filters. We're going to ask your soul, your guides, to take time in this moment and create your own special energy filter. And it's on the outer edges of your aura. From this moment onward, for the rest of this life, for as long as you need it, this filter will be activated. And we're going to ask your guides, your soul, to, from this moment onward, any energy that's in harmony with you flows easily through the filter. And not only will it energize you, it will be in harmony with you and it will energize you, sending you all the energy you would need. Any excess can be released down to the earth or up to the heart of the universe. Any energy that is not in harmony with you, that as it enters the filter, if the filter can transform, transmute it, or repolarize it, it will do that and allow that energy to become in harmony with you, and it will then harmonize and energize you. Any energy that the filter cannot transmute, transform, or repolarize, that energy that is in disharmony with you, its strongest desire is to get far away from you. So from this moment onward, any energy that's flowing with you will energize you. Anything that cannot energize you will be uncomfortable and choose to leave. We ask this to be for your highest and best and anchored on all levels and all dimensions for your highest creation. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel that filter energized. And now, if you want, take your physical hand and begin to feel that filter as it surrounds your aura. Now, it is going to transform any energy, whether it's from a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, whether it's a thought or a belief. It can transform, transmute, or repolarize it. If that energy cannot, then that energy will not want to enter your field, but will want to leave and get far away from you. But this is transforming energy on all levels and all dimensions. And we do this with your soul's permission and your guides' help. We ask them now to bless your energy, to bring you into full balance and harmony. And that when you go to sleep tonight, you will sleep well and deeply and wake up fully refreshed and re-energized in the morning. When you're ready, take a couple of deep breaths. Feel new energy flowing through you and allow yourself to come back to current time, current place, and be fully present in the here and now with the new energies all anchored in.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. That was
I like
awesome. Does anybody have any questions real quick? We'll open it up maybe if you have a question for Beth Ann, or unless you have to go, Beth Ann, I don't want to keep
That's
you.
fine. No, I'm set.
Okay. Okay.
It's not a question, but whenever I felt, my aura and felt outside of it, when I hit a certain point, my hands just would tingle and just feel like they were almost on fire when I would hit that certain point, and I would know, I think that I hit it because there was nothing. And then all of a sudden it just went crazy. I don't know if
Excellent.
anybody else has that ever happen.
You are feeling the edge of your energy. Yes.
It was very interesting because my hand was shaking. And as soon as you said anything that is not in harmony, it stopped shaking. It was wild. She kept saying, okay, stop shaking, like, and then just let it shake, and then it's just stopped.
Well, we go out into life and there's all sorts of energy. You don't know what's gone on before you entered a space. There could have been a fight. There could have been all sorts of negativity. You don't know. And that's why you sometimes can walk into an area and go, whoa, something's going on here. Like you just got bombarded. And this way, I know a quick test. If you want to feel, did this really work for you? Electrical energy is not in harmony with you. So if you go to touch anything electrical now, the longer you touch it, the more energy you'll get from it. Instead of it depleting you, it'll now energize you. So you should feel, before, if you had touched electrical, it would put you off and it actually crashes your energy. That's why people who are on telephones or whatever, their energy crashes after a while. Because it's all electrical and that's not in harmony. Do you feel a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be any electrical. Yeah.
I can actually touch the light bulb and not burn.
Yeah. Anything that was in disharmony now is, if your body can harmonize it with you, it will. Your energy will harmonize it. And if it can't, then it will leave, which is nice. So you don't have to worry about someone bringing negative energy to you.
That's the best part, isn't it?
Yes.
Bye-bye.
You might find people who are really negative don't want to hang out with you anymore, just because it's like they aren't comfortable in your field anymore. Before, they used to try to zap you or drain you of energy because you had a higher energy. So if you have energy that's, your energy's up here and the other person's down lower, they're going to zap you. And where they zap you is at your solar plexus. They drain you. That's universal plug-in. That's why when you hang out with people who are in a negative space, you get a sort of a queasy stomach, or you get a little bit of an upset stomach. And it's because that's where they're draining you from. And my sister who passed, she was a licensed social worker. And so what I said is, she's working with what I call the walking wounded. Someone was wounded emotionally, and so they were seeing her. And the first couple of months that she was doing it, she gained 4 inches in her waist. And she's going, I can't believe this. My scale has not changed, but all my clothes are too tight. I don't know what's going on. I said, it's your body trying to defend itself against the negativity. All your clients are coming in and draining you, because she had a higher energy level. And so how to protect herself, her body's moved all the fat right into the center, right over the solar plexus. So I said, if you want to shift that, I said, wear 100% silk. The silk fiber was made by a silkworm, and the silkworm is making a cocoon. That means the fiber is embedded with an energy to surround and protect. And so if you wear 100% silk, it will protect you. Negative energy can't get in. So I said, until you get this filter strong enough, I said, why don't you wear 100% silk, like camisole or shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you do that, no one can get in and pull negative energy from you. I mean, any energy from you. The silk fiber protects you.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's
I learned
fascinating.
this from a gentleman whose relative was, I think, the last empress of China. And she used to go into the library there and study all these things about energy. And way back in the old days, there was the Taoists, there were some bad priests who were attacking people's energy at night. And they would go and people felt like they were being raped or whatever because their energy was being torn from them. And so some of the good Taoist priests said, sleep on 100% silk sheets and they won't be able to attack you. And that's when it became very popular in China for people, especially the wealthier people, to wear 100% silk. They would wear all their gowns were silk. They would sleep on silk. And it was a way to protect their energy.
Wow, that is very.
Did I tell you she knows everything?
Very, very, very interesting.
40 years of knowledge right there. She's telling us it all.
I
So
could
I love
listen
it.
to her all night long.
Right.
Yes, I told you that's so true.
Yeah. Beth Ann, we really want it, we really want to thank you and for coming on and talking. And we will. Do you have a website?
Yes, it's under my name, Beth Ann Fisher. What was the rest of it? At I forgot.
I will look it. I will look it
my
up.
website too often.
Okay. Well, how if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you then?
Oh, Beth Ann Fisher 33 at gmail.com.
Okay. We will put that up and I will try to find your website so to put the link. But,
Yeah, I can send it to you.
okay, that would be great because
Yeah.
I'm going to be posting this
you
recording and I'll
Ann
put all the
with an E
information
or-
with it.
Excuse
And
me?
Ann, it's just ANN for Ann.
Yes, ANN. Fisher
Okay.
is fish with an ER.
So,
Okay.
And I know Beth Ann said, she's in the process of relocating, but she might be doing some classes. So we'll keep everyone posted
Up to
on
date.
that if you'd like
Yeah.
maybe a class with her and pick her brain a little bit more. I know I'm waiting.
Well, I thought my first class would just be the basics of energy. I feel like nobody really teaches anything about energy, and there's so much
Yeah.
to know. There's tons of information. And once you understand it, then it's like, wow, then all the different classes you've learned about healing or reading energy, whatever, make more sense.
Yeah. Well, I know you're an avid reader. So before I let you go, I'm going to ask, what's a good book?
Oh, okay.
What's a good book to just, start with or even get,
Sure.
really involved with?
Urban Shaman.
Oh,
Urban, 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 Shaman, by
Okay.
Serge, SERGE, Kahili, KAHILI, King,
Okay.
KING.
Okay.
Okay. I've got it. I will put a picture of it on Facebook so that you've got it.
That's a powerful book.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? For some reason, I just thought I was going to ask you that because I know you're an avid reader. And I thought, that might be a good thing to ask some of our guests, to recommend some reading or something for people that are, in all areas and all stages of, their development. So thank you.
That's it. Urban Shaman.
Oh, there
Oh.
it is. Okay. That's a good one.
Okay.
What's fascinating about him is he grew up in a family. He was adopted into a family who his stepfather, adopted father was a kahuna. So he taught the Hawaiian spiritual philosophy. And when he was in college, he went to Africa and then studied the spiritual teachers in Africa. And what he found is there were some commonalities between these different philosophies of spirit and how to connect with spirit. And that's when he wrote the book Urban Shaman, because he takes both the Hawaiian philosophy and the African and blends it and comes up with the commonalities, which would mean that's true for no matter where you are.
Oh, very cool.
Love it. Marilyn, unmute. And have you read the whole thing or you just started with it or?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I pulled it up on Amazon and put it in my cart.
I thought you had the book. Who was showing you were just showing it on the thing. Oh, I thought you actually had the book. Okay. All right. Okay. I got you.
I just ordered it.
Somebody, I'm on.
You'll
Just
love
ordered
it.
it,
It
so.
is, what I like about him is it's very simple, very easy. I love books like that. Ted Andrews is another gentleman. I like his work because it's, again, very straightforward. I don't like heavy, complex things like, I don't know if you've ever read Alice Bailey. She was from the early 1920s and 30s, and her stuff is so deep. I read like a paragraph and I got to take a nap because my brain has to process, what did I just read? Whereas you read his and it just goes in really fast and really quick. And I like things like that. So I like him and I like Ted Andrews. He's another good guy.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well,
You are
you're
just,
welcome.
again, a wealth of knowledge. I can say that a million times, but we really are very, appreciative of you coming on tonight and sharing just a wee bit of that. And I'm looking forward for you having a class or just being able to talk to you again.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Appreciate you all taking the time to listen and to join us tonight.
And
So
I-
blessings to you all.
And I look forward to having a cup of tea with you
Yes,
this summer. So
yes, yes. Soon as you find your location.
I've got my location. Now you have to get yours. So,
Yes.
so,
And
But
then
anyway-
we're all invited there, so don't
Yes.
think we're not all coming. No.
Okay.
So,
At
make a
least one
big
extra
pot.
bedroom.
so want to thank everyone for coming. And we will post the link to recording and try to figure out why we can't go live all of a sudden. So thank you all
Yeah.
from
Okay.
Intuition
you
of the
so
Soul.
Thank you.
And we'll see you
Blessings.
Thank you, everybody.
Blessings.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good
I'm
night.
trying to leave. Okay.
Me
Bye.
out.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
How do I get out? Oh, there I am. Bye.
Wait, cancel me out.
Oh my gosh.
I can end it for all of us. There we go.
No, I'm done.
Awesome. How funny. How funny.